Did a familiarisation 20k time trial. Fun. Not in the heat today, it's just normal conditions. Make sure the bike works on this. Get a feeling for what it's like for Friday or Thursday, whenever I'm doing it. Make sure that for that test I know what it's like, I know how long roughly it's going to take, and yeah.
How many watts do you think you're pushing?
About 210.
Lately I've been trying. Ooh, yeah, baby. You've been blaming me. Ooh, yeah, baby. Lately I've been trying. Ooh, yeah, baby. You've been blaming me. Ooh, yeah, baby. Lately I've been trying.
This is now the start of the heat research study that I'm taking part in, basically to get some heat chamber time in the run up to Kona. Friday was basic testing, kind of all the basic stuff like VO2, lactate threshold, like general bloods, etc. to kind of get a baseline. Then today was a familiarisation test, so before and the after of the 2 weeks of the heat chamber sessions is a 20-kilometre time trial, taking lactate throughout and obviously looking at heart rate and measuring your bloods afterwards and urine. So today was the kind of get used to what it feels like, because it's all done without any data in front of you, so you don't know how far you've done or what power you're pushing or anything. Yeah, that was quite hard today. Very hard doing it without knowing how long you've been going for or kind of what sort of power, although I definitely think I've got better at knowing roughly what power I'm pushing, so that's quite good. So I'll be back on Thursday to do the proper time trial, and then I've got a 2-week block of heat chamber every day. Woo. Some of it passive, some of it active, so some of it's kind of doing a session in the heat chamber at, I think we're doing it about 35 degrees, I think they're setting it at, and like 80% humidity, and it's like a day of that and then a day of passive heat, which is 30 minutes easy on the treadmill and then 40 minutes in the hot bath. Gonna be 2 weeks of fun. Today is the passive heat acclimation. So I had 30 minutes running where I was meant to be going sort of somewhat hard in terms of perceived exertion. So just on the treadmill, I was running, I warmed up for like 10 minutes because I don't think it's sensible to just go straight in, and then did 20 minutes at 13 kilometers an hour to try and keep it like, yeah, reasonably steady, so it's not a hard run day for me today, and then 30 to 40 minutes in the hot bath. So I think the hot bath's been kept at 39.5 degrees. So just trying to keep that core temperature up. So yes, I think I got up to about 38.2, 38.3 on the run. I'm not sure what it's doing now, so I don't know if it found me. But yeah, so I took a heat pill early this morning, so I haven't had to use the thermometer that goes up your bum, which is nice and doesn't really work running. Chilling in the bath, which is sort of not unpleasant, but not the most pleasant thing I've done. So some really interesting results from the pre and post 20k time trial from doing the heat work. So I think one of the things that I probably wasn't that surprised by, given some of the training I was doing around it, was I didn't actually increase my power on the 20k time trial. So I think I beat my time by 7 seconds, which yeah, not amazing. And in terms of the power that I was doing, I was doing around sweet spot power, so about 220 watts for me, which yeah, kind of isn't a really, you know, if I would hope that if I was actually trying to do a really, really hard effort, as hard as I could go, that I would be able to push more than that. Like I know that I can, because I've done it outside, doing hour of power, doing quite a lot more than that. But one of the things that I know is not my strength is that kind of pushing myself really hard in those kind of lab conditions. Like I think it's just mentally I don't quite get myself up there. But either way, like still lots of interesting things to look at from some of the other data. So my peak heart rate in the first time trial was 170 compared to 153 in the post heat one, which is obviously quite a big change. And quite an important one, because obviously lower heart rate in the heat means you're generally not getting as hot and you're keeping yourself at a bit more of a steady state. Perceived exertion and thermal sensation was also lower. Resting core temp definitely changed quite a lot over the course of the 8 days. So it went from about 37.17 on the pre-test to 36.45 on the post-test, which is a really big change in just that core body temperature. There are other things that might impact that, like the stage of the cycle that you're at, but still, I think we saw it as we were going throughout, that it was kind of lowering every day that I came in. Then actually probably the most interesting one is the blood plasma volume expansion. So with the bloods that were taken in the pre-trial and the post-trial, Dan was measuring my hemoglobin and my hematocrit and then using that to look at what the blood plasma expansion was, and he's worked that out as being 19%, which is massive. He said he would usually expect sort of 4 to 8%, and actually he quite often sees with some of the more elite athletes you don't get as much expansion because you've already kind of got some of that adaptation in terms of carrying around plasma volume. But I think it's quite good because it shows that I clearly respond really well to that heat training, and to see changes like that in such a short time is really good. So yeah, lots of interesting things. Unfortunately won't be getting used anytime too soon, but now I know that in terms of doing heat prep for Kona, that the kind of data behind it and how I can train it in a really good way to get myself ready as best as possible.